Christmas is not an excuse to get soft. It's just a season where most men give themselves permission to. And permission is always more dangerous than laziness. Welcome back to Iron Suits, where strength wears a crown. I am your host, Marwan Kilu. Today, I've got a short episode for you, and it's called Christmas is Not an Excuse to Get Soft. Straight talk about why you need to stay active over the Christmas period. And look, now, I'm calling myself out here because back in my 20s, I was the poster child for what not to do over the Christmas period. Right? The second I clocked out for a Christmas break, especially during my corporate days, it was game over. Every day became an excuse to drink myself stupid. And that was back in the days when I used to drink and eat like tomorrow just never existed. Training, forget it, that just like felt like work. I thought, I should be relaxing. And it was fucking ridiculous looking back. Here's what I've learned. How much you actually enjoy Christmas directly correlates to how you feel in your own skin. Let me repeat that again. How much you actually enjoy Christmas directly correlates with how you feel in your own skin. And look, I know some of you are thinking, I'm a CEO, I've built a successful business, I can handle a few extra pounds over Christmas. But here's the reality. You didn't build your company making excuses, did you? Now, I'm not saying you need to be stage ready or sitting at 6% body fat. Hell, Christmas is one of the few times I intentionally dial things back. I'm not following a rigid meal plan in the evenings, or I'm not really sort of too focused on my calories. Okay, so I'm not counting every single thing, but I can only enjoy those meals, those moments with the family when I know that I'm still taking care of my body. And I know some of you are thinking, I work 60, 70 hours a week. Christmas is my time to just completely switch off. I get it, okay? I get it. But switching off from work does not mean switching off from yourself. And I want you to bear this in mind. If you keep training through Christmas, you're going to enjoy the entire festive season exponentially more. Your body will handle the extra food better. Those drinks, they'll actually taste better because you're not drowning in guilt. And everything we do is chasing a feeling. You're working your ass off all year so that you can enjoy this time, spoil your family, go to nice places. But if you show up bloated, lethargic, miserable because you haven't moved your body in 2 weeks, then what's the point? Your family wants you, your attention, your presence, your energy. You know that feeling when you're back-to-back meetings all day, and by the time that you get home, you've got nothing left to give? That's kind of what happens when you don't train over Christmas. Except the self-inflicted. They want the best version of you, or at least something close to it. And you can't deliver if you are hungover, bloated, and haven't moved in days. Oh, that's my son calling. Just bear with me. Give me 1 second. I'll call you back. I'm just doing a podcast. Okay. Bye. Never mind. I always get that every single time I do a podcast. I get somebody calling me. It's like, I told you I'm doing a podcast. Okay. So, all right. Let me break down exactly why training over Christmas is non-negotiable. Now that we've sort of like said that your family wants the best version of you. And if you're hungry, if you're like hungover, bloated, and haven't moved in days, then you're not really going to show up as your best self. And when I say training, I mean movement, specifically movement, weights, cardio, long walks. As long as you're moving deliberately, that counts. Okay. Um, you don't want to dig yourself into a bigger hole in January. If you don't want to dig yourself into a bigger hole, you got to keep lifting in some capacity. Okay, because number one, training drives better food choices. When we train, we make intelligent eating decisions the rest of the day. There's nothing worse because we crave routines. Okay, when we are at work, we have a routine. We go to work. We know what we're going to eat for breakfast. We know what we're going to have for lunch. We go to the gym. Now we've got all these extra 8 or so or 9 or 10 hours or whatever it is that you work. Maybe you work 15, 16 hours. Now you've got 15, 16 hours free to sit around. And guess what's going to happen if you're going to sit around? You're just going to be eating your face off. You're going to be eating like a fucking pig because you're just bored. And that's actually, that's that's facts. So if you go to the gym in the morning, then you're going to come back, you're going to have this much more energy, and you're going to want to make better food choices because you don't want to ruin your progress. So for me, my strategy is very simple. I eat what I want in the evenings during this period, whatever my wife makes. Okay, so whether she makes a leg of lamb, I don't bother counting the portions. Maybe it's a bit of rice rather than, I'll have more rice rather than sweet potato. What else? Maybe have a bit of extra gravy, a bit of extra potatoes, maybe, and maybe I'll have some desserts as well. Okay, without really tracking it. But I'll make sure that in the morning, then in the morning and afternoon, then my food is accounted for. I'm not having a free-for-all breakfast, lunch, and dinner because even with training, you can balloon up incredibly fast, like within days. And I don't care how lean you are right now. For context, I'm sitting at around 9% body fat with the visible abs. You can transform yourself into a fucking disaster in just a few days of uncontrolled eating. Like I'm eating 3,300 calories. If I don't move, and my weight will easily go north very, very quickly. Okay. And this problem gets exponentially worse if you're not training. Use training as your anchor. Do it first thing in the morning or before noon. Let it be the catalyst for making better choices for at least the first half of your day. Because here's the reality. You are going to eat more over Christmas. I'm yet to meet a high-performing executive who doesn't use the holidays as an excuse to indulge more than usual, myself included. So if calories are going up through food, alcohol, or both, it's like simple maths, okay? You're going to get fucking fat fast if you're not moving. The equation just doesn't lie. The maths doesn't lie. Calories in, calories out. Sometimes people need this blunt reminder. If you're not training, not moving, but you're eating significantly more and drinking more, then it's a caloric surplus like any other time, and unlike any other time of the year. Okay, so train even if the sessions are shorter. And here's how I'll structure it if I were you. Like I would train with less volume, tighten up the rest periods, keep your body moving within the session. Use supersets, trisets, extended sets. So that's 2 sets antagonists back to back. So chest and back. Trisets, like 3 exercises in a row, back to back without resting. And there's all sorts of ways. Extended sets. All sorts of ways you can do it just to sort of keep the body moving. You don't need marathon sessions, okay? But keep the intensity high at the time that you have. So it's not like you're saying, oh, okay, I'll have 20 minutes. Then I'm just going to do 1 set of squats and I'm going to rest 3 minutes in between and then do another set. So that's another 3 minutes in between, okay, to build muscle. Okay, that's like 6 minutes gone plus say 1 minute each. For let's say up to 1 minute by the time you unrack the bar and put it back. 2 sets. That's already like nearly 10 minutes gone. I say you got another 10 minutes, another exercise. It's not worthwhile. Okay, so tighten the load. You can go less. What's it called? Use less weight, but keep the rest times shorter. So Christmas and New Year are massive moments, end of year celebrations. You want to feel incredible around everyone you love. And, if you're training before Christmas, after Christmas, maybe even New Year's morning, you're setting yourself up to actually enjoy these sessions. Now, I don't train Christmas Day. My wife might actually divorce me. I'm kidding, but seriously, I don't. Maybe Boxing Day, if we don't have any guests, I might go and train, although I think my gym is closed on Boxing Day and I'm traveling on the 28th, so I'm going to have to go on the 27th. But definitely New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. This year we're in Cancun, so whilst everybody's still asleep and hungover, I'm the one who's going to be sober the next day because I don't drink. I'm actually going to be getting the what's it called, the work done, and plus, because it's a all-inclusive resort, and then breakfast is I can eat whatever I want. Okay. Christmas Day, we're going to head to my brother's, but I'll make sure that I'm definitely going to get my steps in before. The dogs don't know it's Christmas. They need walks, and I'm definitely going to be out walking them regardless. But honestly, staying active makes these occasions so much better. Like the number of years celebrations that I ruined in my 20s and 30s by completely neglecting my training and not training and just eating and drinking like whatever I wanted. I felt absolutely fucking terrible. Some people might think I'm exaggerating because I'm in shape, but I still have these standards for how I want to feel. And when you felt good about yourself all year long, and then suddenly you peg out for 2 weeks straight, drink heavily, not move, you feel like absolute shit. Okay? You can wear the custom suit, the bespoke shirt, the expensive watch, surround yourself with gifts from loved ones. But if you're struggling to button your shirt because you've let yourself go, those celebrations just feel hollow. And when you've earned it, when you've kept up with your training and kept your nutrition reasonably tight around these occasions, your Christmas dinner tastes incredible. Your Boxing Day meal tastes better. Drinks with friends taste better. It's earned. That same behavior, the same food, when you haven't earned it through discipline, it's not the same experience. Now, here's what nobody wants to hear, but I'm going to say anyway. If you're married, you have a partner, you have kids, you owe them more than just showing up. You can buy all the expensive gifts you want, the Chanel bags, the Cartier bracelets, the luxury trips, but your spouse doesn't give a fuck about another $10,000 bag if you're too fat to button your custom tailored suit. Does she see a soft, doughy shadow of a man she married? Or do her eyes still gleam with that flirtatious pride they had 15 years ago when she looked at you? When she looks at you, rather. Like putting a $50,000 Rolex on a fat wrist that can barely button his shirt? The luxury means nothing if you feel like garbage wearing it. You owe your family the responsibility of being present, happy, and energized, not just for your clients and your team during the rest of this year, but especially your family during this time. Some people think Christmas is a permission to completely down tools, eat, drink, and check out mentally. But the people who love you most want your attention and your energy. They don't want you lethargic, irritable, and moody because you've abandoned your training. And it doesn't matter who you are. When you've overconsumed and stopped moving, you become the worst version of yourself. And if you're skeptical, think back to previous Christmases when you went completely off the rails, ate everything, drank heavily, didn't train. How did you actually feel? Did that make you happy? Can you honestly say you maximized that time with your wife, kids, and your friends? The answer is no. So turn the gears up on your training this Christmas and New Year period. And I want to make one last point. Think ahead to January. Of course, you will be present over Christmas, but if you run a business like I do, like many of my clients do, you want to hit January hard with momentum. You don't want to waste the first week or two of January feeling guilty because you've barely moved and now you're trying to restart your engine. Remember, movement shifts mood. Yes, I train to look good, and so do my clients. But I train first and foremost because it's my daily medicine. It's the input that affects how I feel and the energy I live with. If you don't train over Christmas, I guarantee that you're going to feel guilty in January. You'll be one of those people saying, I need to get back on it. Back on it? How about staying on? How about staying on it at the lower intensity over Christmas and then just turning up to the dial in January, moving through the gears in January? You're going to outwork your competition if you stay fit and keep your body strong over Christmas. You're going to be sharper, more productive, more efficient, and in a better mental state if you just stay active. Now, I'm not saying train every single day, though I'd advocate moving most days. Even if you take Christmas Day completely off, that's totally cool. I get it, but move your body on most days. Get some sessions in. Remember, less but better beats doing nothing. And watch how much sharper you're going to be in January. How much more mentally focused, how far ahead of the curve that you feel compared to your competition. You don't want your competition outworking you while you're recovering from 2 weeks of gluttony. And I'm completely transparent about this. I want to turn the gears every single year with my business. I want to stay strong and fit, so I'm always at the front of the pack. But I can't do that if I am a complete disaster through Christmas. Everything we do is to chase a feeling. So if you know you're happier than when you train, do it. What difference does it make if it's December 24th, 26th, 27th, or the 28th? Your brain and your body doesn't give a damn what date it is, but they absolutely register how good you feel. If one of your key inputs for feeling good, performing well, having energy, and being happy is lifting, training, or cardio, whatever that looks like for you, keep doing it, because I promise you're going to enjoy your Christmas exponentially more. That's it. I hope this episode hits. If it does, share it with another leader, because as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. I'll talk to you guys soon.